I'm going to lead off with a quarterback that, we've all mentioned this guy's name before, I think, because he scores really well on our athlete model. And that's Adam Schobel. Recently flipped from Oklahoma State. I was excited about him at Oklahoma State, but recently flipped to TCU after TCU's quarterback decommitted. So they went after Schobel, and he is now committed officially to the Horned Frogs, I think about a week ago. But he's really interesting. He scores well in our athlete model. He's 6'4.5", 190. He's from Texas. He's plays with the 101st ranked team in Texas, a 38 team power ranking, and a 13 strength of schedule. So all those are a little bit under, what you would like to see. The strength of schedule is not that strong, bad team, all that sort of thing. But so he's now a TCU commitment, and he's a legacy. So, he has strong ties. It makes sense for him to go there. Now, he's pushing 90th percentile athlete. And for us, that's a big deal. Quarterbacks, especially a lower rated quarterback that has a really good athletic percentile, is a guy that is worth betting on. If they're low ranked and are not a good athlete, then forget it. If they're high ranked and not a good athlete, it's risky, but some have still made the league. But this is the type of guy down the list that is worth taking a closer look at with that athletic percentile. 4.740, ball velocity up near 60. We've got him at 57 to 59 miles per hour. So he's got a cannon. I would say that's venturing into cannon territory for sure. He's flirting with 1 or 2 miles per hour off the top of the class. A two-sport guy, 68% completion with 2,400 yards, 30 TDs, and only 4 interceptions, although we're not sure those are the most complete stats for this past season. But still, that's pretty good. 30 touchdowns and keeping the interceptions under 5 is pretty solid. We don't want to see, interceptions that get up near double digits. So his dad and uncle, he's got some bloodlines in the NFL. He's a big kid, of course, but he was at the Elite 11 regional and didn't get invited to the finals. That's always a little bit of a concerning thing in terms of just overall projection. Although we know that non-Elite 11 guys, can make the NFL. So not a ton of a runner, although I do think he has some rushing stats, but not probably a difference maker on the ground. And so, I think he's a guy definitely to keep an eye on. I think 2 building blocks that you can be pretty comfortable with, especially when you're talking about a pretty low-rated guy on the surfaces, is arm strength and athleticism. We're happy to see those 2 things. That's my take. I'm interested marginally. I think I was a little more interested in Oklahoma State. They have a history of just explosive offenses, whether it's a running back, whether it's, they've actually got quite a history of elite RB1s, elite wide receiver ones, and pretty good quarterbacks that have challenged, 3,500 yards and 30-plus touchdowns in a season. TCU, hit or miss. A little bit of a more spotty history, although they were throwing the ball quite a bit last year towards the end of the year, so maybe there's room to grow there at TCU. Did I cover it all, David? Anything you'd like to add about Schobel? I know I said a lot there.
No, yeah. I think you did a good job of covering it. I think you could just point towards his size, which is good, and his arm, which is good, and coaches will love that. And, you kind of mentioned he has the genetics, like his dad and his uncle played for TCU and the NFL. I think he's got a big frame, will fill out quite a bit. So I think those things are going to probably get him on the field at some point, just a matter of when, I think. And then I think TCU is a good enough system where you don't have to be dual threat to be somewhat relevant. So, yeah, I think he's definitely a guy to monitor.
Yeah, Josh Hoover, their presumed starter this year, is being drafted late. And from what I understand, a lot of people are kind of excited to draft Josh Hoover in underdog college fantasy best ball because of what you said. They are throwing it. Last year, they threw the ball 40-plus times towards the end of the season, each game. And so there could be a lot of volume there. One thing that is a little bit concerning for us, we loved Hoss Haney, who is at TCU. And so now Schobel comes in behind Haney with 1 year of separation there. It's kind of like Highlander. There can be only one. So I don't know if it'll be Haney or if it'll be Schobel. Probably between the two guys, though, I think TCU has an interesting quarterback situation once Hoover either transfers or, graduates. But I think both those guys are more exciting than Hoover. So, I do think there's some, interest on the horizon at quarterback for TCU. If you like what we're doing here on The Official, like and subscribe to this video. Comment down below if you think, we're way off on Schobel, or you've heard about him, or maybe his sister's cousin's brother takes care of their dog and you have some insight. Let us know. I mean, every little nugget helps.